Beauty is my business, but forcing an issue between Stacey and Monique is my specialty. Hey everybody, welcome to my channel. I am Raphael and I'm here to review season 10, episode 7 of The Real Housewives Who Came Back After 5 Years of Potomac. We start the episode off seeing Kiarna doing something that nobody cares to watch. We briefly see Angel and our husband, Bobby, in their kitchen. And then the episode officially starts at Tia's house because those two first scenes were basically commercials. They were bathroom breaks. So now we're at Tia's house. She's in the kitchen. She's on a video chat with her mom. She's talking to her, but then her daughters, they come in and they also want to talk to the grandma. And they're like, Grandma, we want to talk to you too. So Tia, she tells the daughters, sweeties, right now I'm having a conversation with my mommy. Can you just let me talk to my mommy, please? Go back upstairs. And all of a sudden they tell the grandma, well, Grandma, I don't even know why you even want to talk to her in the first place. She doesn't even like you. She's always talking shit about you. And I'm like, whoa. You know, at first when I started seeing their family dynamic at the beginning of the season, I thought, okay, it's kind of cute, you know, okay, it's kind of interesting, but it's cute, right? Now, it's not cute. Like, now I feel like it's borderline disrespectful, and now I just feel like the daughters are doing a little bit too much. Is it just me? You know, because, I mean, to say that to the grandma, you know, and I know Tia wants to throw that accent out the window and just curse her daughters out one good time, but, you know, she doesn't want to do that on camera because, you know, she has to keep it very posh and very Queen of England like, right? Then we hear a bunch of iconic quotes, and one of them says, you better back up before I choke you out with this umbrella. And Robin, to this day, I have to give you 2 points for standing your ground against Monique when she walked up to her and she was just like, oh, well, what are you gonna do? You're gonna choke me out with your umbrella? And I feel like if something really happened between both of them, that Robin secretly would have stood her ground or at least put up a good fight, right? But we'll never know. And honestly, Robin, if I'm being honest, you know, I do miss you. You know, I do miss you. I miss you on the show, and I do miss what you brought to the show. What you brought to the show, I'm not sure, but I do miss you. And I feel like it's probably because Kiarna and Angel have been a 2-for-1 special and disappointment, and they haven't really brought anything to this show. And maybe it has me longing for something in the past, and maybe, you know, that's where my feelings are coming from. But I do miss you. No, I don't. But the real quote that I was looking forward to that we hear later on was the one from Karen Huger when she tells Monique, let her go, Monique. Monique, let her go. Monique, let her go. Monique, Monique, let her go. Monique had Karen stressed when she was gripping on Candace's hair. Karen was just screaming nonstop, let her go, Monique, Monique, let her go. With that giant Fendi Batman cape that she had on. Oh, Karen. You know, and Karen is another one I miss. You know, it's so funny because she just came out and she made her, not like that. She just came out on the stage and made her grand return to the stage at BravoCon this past weekend. And it is just so hilarious the way, you know, the Bravo universe, the audience are basically a cult. Because she came out and everybody was fainting, falling out, crying, screaming. It was a round of applause. Like, they gave her a standing ovation. And I'm like, we do know that she was playing Fast and the Furious on the highway, drunk, and she crashed into a tree. Like, we do remember that, right? Like, 4 different times. But okay, let's give her a standing ovation, right? Like, it is just crazy. You know, the moral compass just goes right out the window, right? But it goes out the window for me too because I was also there like, oh, look at Karen. Speaking of hilarious, Mia, you know, I just sat down to finally record this review and I look on Twitter and all of a sudden I see Mia, my favorite, you know, from the show, you know, she just got arrested in Atlanta. And supposedly, here's the details. She got arrested because apparently she stole $11,000 worth of furniture from a furnished apartment. Like, Mia, what are we doing? I thought you were the CEO. Like, that is crazy. We're stealing furniture from apartments now. Like, that's how, my God, this is how you know it's a recession indicator outside. Because now we're stealing furniture. Like, you know, last time I checked, wasn't she in a relationship with Mr. Beep, 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 beep. All night we go freak, 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 freak. You know, Bobby Valentino, weren't they together? You know, you mean to tell me, Mia, that Mr. Beep, 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 he couldn't buy you like a couch? You know, tell me this. Did the couches that you steal, were they at least recliners? You know, were they comfortable? Were they suede or were they plastic or like what kind of, they had to be worth it for you to go to jail. Her phone call that she probably took to Gordon, because I know she probably didn't call Inc. or Bobby Valentino, beep, beep. She probably called Gordon like,
Gordon, can you come bail me out of jail because I just got arrested for stealing a couch?
Wendy was also at BravoCon, and she's going down the same path as Jen Shah. Deny. According to her, she told the audience, these are all just allegations and speculations. The truth will come out at the right time. Okay, Wendy, I'm going to be in your corner to the very bitter end, the same way that I was in Jen Shah's corner all the way to the very bitter end. So, if that's her story, then, I'll stick to that. But, at this point, I'm getting nervous, because at this point, we're not going to have a cast for next season. Everybody just keeps going to jail. It's going to get to the point where we're only going to see Gizelle and Tia in the intro for next season holding their champagne flutes, looking at each other like, so where's the rest of the cast? And, part of me is very nervous and somewhat scared. I don't even know if I should talk about this because I don't want to put it out there and then make it a reality, Part of me is scared that, I'm sorry, it's this is a very sensitive topic and I don't know if I'm going to cut this out from the video, but part of me is really petrified and scared that they might get desperate and they're running out of cast members, that they might ask Sharice Jackson back on the show. So, we see the grand return of Mo to the, Neek to the, Mo to the, Neek to the, Monique. We see the grand return of Monique Samuels. The last time we saw her, she was wiping the floor at the reunion with Gizelle with her infamous binder, right? I still can't believe it's been 5 years. And every time I think about that reunion, I get pissed all over again at Gizelle. Why? Because when when she read out Jamal Bryant's phone number, Andy asked Gizelle, is that Jamal's number? What did Gizelle do? Yeah, that's his phone number. Gizelle, are you dumb? You lie at 24/7 on this show, and the one time I would have been on board with you lying, you don't. The one time that you needed to, you don't. Why are you admitting the truth? Nobody would have got that information out of me. I would have sat there on that couch no, I don't know whose number that is. No, who's Jamal? His phone number is 800, 900, MC squared, 002, 007, I believe, 86 to the square root of something. That's his phone number. I don't know whose phone number that is. Monique is crazy, but no, she admitted that. Gizelle just, ugh. But we see Monique, and I've always said that Monique is probably top 3 most beautifulest housewives out of all housewives, with Kenya Moore being number 1. The last time we saw her, she vowed to never do reality TV again. But what did she do 2 seconds later after leaving this show? She did reality TV again. She had her own show called Love and Marriage Detroit. She was a part of an ensemble cast with Carlos King being a producer. And I didn't watch the show, but from what I did hear is that people did not like the show and it didn't paint her or her marriage in the best lighting. And it was kind of the beginning of the downfall of her and Chris Samuels. So I believe she was a one and done season and, Carlos King never really talked about it again. So that's unfortunate. And I love Monique as well, but I just wish she would have never came back on the show. I said it last week that I feel like it's almost borderline pathetic that she's even back as a friend of, because she went off on such a good high. We all remember her at the reunion when she told Andy to his face, oh, that little check that you give us? Oh, that's nothing. Because her and Chris, they were making money, or Chris was making money, whoever. And Andy did not like that. You could tell that it really bothered him because, Andy is just so used to, kind of just thinking that he's right here and everybody else is underneath him. And I just love that Monique kind of just, put him down a couple of notches. But now that she's back, I just feel it's probably an ego boost to him. And he's probably looking at her oh, I guess you need that little check now. It's only been 5 years, but now you need it, huh? She's being reintroduced through Ashley. They've been friends from the very beginning. Ashley comes on over. Unfortunately, she's showing her around the house. She still has the same house, but she has a new bird because unfortunately, the bird that she loved, T'Challa, passed away. But she has a new bird and the bird talks a lot, apparently. They go out to the back to catch up and Ashley tells her, me and Gizelle actually have our own clothing company, which Ashley, I recommend you stop telling people that because that's very embarrassing of you. But, it's called GNA. GNA stands for garbage and ass, GNA. And it's going pretty well. The company's been going on for 2 years and I believe we have maybe 2 sales Actually, no, because somebody returned their shirt. We have like 1.5 sales. So I say that we're, it's a pretty good startup business. Monique is looking at her like, okay, so obviously your life has gone meow since I last saw you. And this is how you know she's up Gizelle's ass, because she's like, I don't really think that Gizelle's a bad dresser like that. Ugh. But then again, what can we expect from Ashley with her choices, right? She's the same one who got with Michael Darby and got no money out of it. Ashley brings up the infamous fight between Candace and Monique says that she was a whole different person 5 years ago, and she didn't realize that she was battling a bunch of trauma and emotions at the time. And yeah, we saw how you were battling your trauma on top of Candace's head, Monique. And I could believe that, because we all saw how Monique snapped and she was running around the entire barn aiming for Candace like nobody was going to stop her from putting her hands on Candace. The producer, security, nobody. So, maybe it was her marriage to Chris Samuels, that was, kind of anchoring her down or, making her unhappy, and she was just trying to put on this image for the show. Who knows? But, we'll see what she brings to the show moving forward. So Ashley's like, well, you know what? I'm having this World Pride event, but Gizelle Bryan is going to be there. Are you going to be okay with that? Monique is like, yeah, she's no problem. I chewed her up once 5 years ago. It's fine. I have my binder in my closet. I could just take it out and write a couple of new things. So, as long as she keeps it, she keeps it nice, everything is cute. Then we head over to Wendy's house, and her and Eddie, they want to renovate the whole house. And it's just so funny, the timing of the episode with everything going on in Wendy and Eddie's life. Now I see a motive. Now 1 + 1 is equaling 2. Now I get you, Wendy. Now we see each other. Now I see what you were trying to get. You just went about it the wrong way and you got caught. But now I see what you were trying to get. You were just trying to renovate your house. I get it. I completely understand. Maybe, a couple of tweaks, a couple of tune-ups, but you got caught and now here we are. But I get you. But so we see Stacy, she's taking a photo shoot in the bushes for her cannabis line. Then we see Angel and her sister. All right, bathroom break. We could stop the review right here. You could go to the bathroom for a second, go get a snack, go walk around for a second and then come back. We'll talk about Angel in a minute. And we're back. So Angel starts filling her in on everything that's been going on, from Gizelle saying that she edits her photo, she's a catfish, she's pasting in her pictures. But instead of being upset with Gizelle, she aims at Wendy, and she was just like, yeah, Wendy, she was laughing off to the side. And I don't understand why, with her asshole lips and her Forrest Whitaker look in the eye. And I'm like, Angel, what is that supposed to mean? Your comments about Wendy's appearance are coming off very, very suspicious and very unwarranted. Like, first of all of you are beautiful, so I'm not really sure why are we taking a dig at each other's looks. Like, Wendy is beautiful, so what are we doing here, Angel? But, for you to say that about Wendy just because she laughed, like, yeah, she shouldn't have laughed to begin with. Because I didn't like that either, because now that she's buddy-buddy with Gizelle, it almost felt like she was up her ass a little bit. And, she was laughing at somebody else's expense when just a second ago, Wendy, you know what it's like to be on the receiving end of Gizelle. When she was trying to ice you out like 3 seasons ago. But okay, let's forget that. Gizelle is the one that brought up the topic to embarrass you in front of everybody. Yet all she said was, yeah, she edits her neck. That's it? But yet you're making fun of Wendy's appearance and she looks like this and her lips that, right? Okay, Angel. And this reunion is just not going to look good for her because she does not back this up in person. You should have had this type of energy in person when Gizelle first brought up the topic, but you didn't say anything. You didn't say anything right then and there when you saw Wendy laughing, but, you have all of this big bad energy with your sister behind the scenes, right? When you're not with the group. Well, when you're with the group, you're crying, you want to walk away, you're sad, you're not really giving anything. So, as much as I love Bobby, I'm gonna have to let you go, Angel. It was nice while it lasted. We head back over to Tia's house where she's getting a recap of the party that her daughter threw at the house while she was away on the cast trip. So according to Sienna, she says that the party got way too chaotic way too quickly because somebody had leaked the address of the party online. So 1 million people showed up. They were throwing up all over the beds. They were on top of cars dancing. She tried to get the party shut down 5 different times by calling the police 5 different times. So Tia, she's in shock and she was just like, wait a minute. What the bloody hell was going on while I was away on my cast trip? What's happening here, Rob? Rob, there needs to be some order. What's going on here? Rob, the husband, apparently he was there the entire time. And his excuse was, well, she did call the cops 5 different times. So I thought she did a good job. So I just let her do it. like what is going on here? Tia, what did I say earlier? Like there needs to be some type of structure in this house because this is just way too much. I mean, yeah, kudos to her for trying to get the party shut down, but I mean, you're the dad. You're right there, and you just let all of this just happen for how long? Like, we then see Stacey and Wendy meeting up to get lunch, and already their outfits set the tone for the meeting because they show up dressed like each other. Like, who is stalking who here? So they sit down to catch up. Stacey, she tells Wendy, well, my cannabis line is a very, it's a small startup, but I'm very proud of it because I'm releasing a bunch of gummies and it's called Shayo. It's a Nigerian word for joy and happy. So Wendy was just looking at her like, okay, but why that word specifically? Because her husband, Eddie, he has a cannabis line called Happy Eddie. You see the similarities here, Stacey? Like, you see why you look crazy? So Stacey was just like, well, I just found out about my African roots and I just wanted to pay homage to it, because like, why not? So Wendy was just like, okay, but yeah, there's, different countries in Africa. Why did you choose something Nigerian specifically? Here goes Stacey. Well, I have this I have this affinity for Nigerians. So, why not? Wendy, she breaks the fourth wall. She looks right at us, at the camera, and she's just like, like Stacey and these answer. And then Stacey, she looks at Wendy and she blurts out, you're my sister. I love Stacey. Like, she is so damn cute. Like, I wish I could have a conversation with her. Like, she seems so funny. So Stacey, Wendy, and Ashley, they head down to Dallas, Texas, where Jazzy's getting married. And this is one of those scenes that you have to have your eyes glued to the screen and you can't blink, or else you'll miss everything. Because I was watching and I'm like, oh, okay. All three of them, they look beautiful in their dresses. And then I look away for a quick second just to get something to drink. I look back at the screen and it's over. It was basically a commercial. It wasn't even a wedding. It was a commercial. Like, Jazzy, they did you so dirty because I don't think I've ever seen a housewife special, a wedding special, be so short. I mean, it was literally a TikTok. We saw more of the three main housewives walking by than we saw of Jazzy. I mean, I was trying to look at Jazzy like, is that Jazzy for a second? Well, let me rewind a little bit. Is that Jazzy? Damn it, I missed it again. Let me rewind. Is that Jazzy? Damn it, let me rewind. Because they only gave us 5 seconds of Jazzy, so I had to keep rewinding to see, how she looked. She looked nice and everything, but, and I believe even her vows got cut off because she was up there talking to her fiance, now husband, and she was just like, I vow to commercial, coming up on the Real Housewives of Potomac. So it's finally time to celebrate World Pride. Woo! Gay shit, gay shit, gay shit. Woo! So they all show up one by one at this club. They're all dressed in rainbow attire. Everybody's looking good, right? Gizelle, she shows up with her daughter, Grace. I was shocked about that. I'm like, oh, okay, that's cute. And she's also with Cal. So they're all having fun. They're mingling. They're dancing. Everybody's, having a good time. Ashley, she shows up in drag king attire, right? And, I'm just looking at her like, or him. And I'm like, if she was to approach me at the club dressed like this, I'll probably entertain it for like maybe 30 seconds before I'm like, okay, Ashley, get the fuck off me. Like, I'm not interested. You have no money from Michael. Like, get off me. Like, but Tia, something must have happened to her because in the confessional, she was just like, Ashley, she looks very sexy dressed like a bloke. She is just so adorable. I love Tia, but she starts giving nicknames out to everybody like she's Flavor Flav, right? I believe she gave Kiarna cum injector, and I'm like, all right, you see how we made a quick left with these nicknames? Like at first I'm like, it's kind of cute, but now we're just getting, raunchy and nasty, which I usually like raunchy and nasty, but damn. And then she gets to Gizelle. Gizelle, you're gonna be serving jizz. Like, where is the class? Like, let me cover up. I just feel so like, I feel so dirty now. Like, So then, they continue partying, having a good time. Next thing you know, we see, Mo to the, neek to the, mo to the, neek to the. She comes in and you could just tell that Gizelle's life flashed before her eyes. That entire season 5 reunion from 5 years ago flashed before in her brain. Like she was putting on her hat. Monique, she walks right in, right around Gizelle. Gizelle is just looking at her like, all she probably heard was, is Jamal coming? Is Jamal coming? Is Jamal coming? And it's just so funny that we hear in the background, yeah, I got 3 homes. I was still waiting to hear the one from Karen. Let go of her, Monique. Let go. Monique, let go. Just so hilarious. So Monique walks in and, I wonder, did Ashley genuinely just not tell anybody that she was inviting Monique? Because they all look shocked. Like Gizelle, she's pretty good at keeping like a poker face, but you could tell that she was thrown off, especially when she grabbed Cal. Cal was right next to her. Cal has no fucking loyalty. Like, if I was you, Gizelle, fire him. Because, Cal, if I have a problem with the bitch, you have to have a problem with the bitch too. Like she called me out at the reunion. She dragged me for a whole 30 minutes at the reunion. Yeah, Cal was just like, oh my God, Monique, Monique, Monique. Oh my God, Monique, Monique, Monique. Oh, I love you. Oh my God, I'm such a fan of you. I'm such a fan. Oh my God, I can't stand Gizelle. I love you. Thank you so much for bringing out that binder. I love you. You're so iconic. Oh my God, you look so amazing. Like, if I was Gizelle, I would have whispered in Cal's ear, like, if you don't sit your gay ass down and stop this gay shit. Like, no loyalty. Like, Gizelle's over here like, hey, Cal, you're supposed to be on my side. Cal. Cal is just like, get the fuck off of you, tacky bitch. Monique, I love you. Like, it was just crazy. Like, so Monique goes around giving a hug to everybody, and Gizelle is just, I don't even know if she's fake or not, but she pulled a Brenda from Scary Movie. She was just all to her corner, right, while Monique was saying hello. And she was just looking at Monique like, look at this fake bitch. Why is she back? I can't stand her. She is as fake as press-on nails. Hey, baby girl. The second that Monique came to hug her, Gizelle was just like, oh, hey, Monique. I wonder if Gizelle would have done the same thing, though, if Robin, her partner in crime, was still on the show. Probably not, but... So Gizelle in the confessional, she was just like, I have been thinking about Monique. I bet you have. After her dragging the floor with you 5 years ago, I'll be thinking about that every single day too. She was just like, I have been thinking about her, especially her divorce. I just feel like she was a whole different person when she was married. And now I'm curious of how she is now. And I'm like, so they're all having a good time. And then Kiarna, she looks over at Monique and she was just like, wait a minute, Monique Samuels, Stacey, wait a minute. Hold on, don't both of you know each other? And I'm like, Kiarna, if this would have came out of Gizelle, Ashley, or Wendy's mouth, then, it'd be a whole different story. But coming from you, like, it just seems so forced and so overly produced. Like, what are we doing here? So then Gizelle, she wasted no time being the producer and she helped her out. She was just like, you mean Chris Samuels? So then Kiarna was just like, oh yeah, Chris Samuels. That's your ex-husband. And that's the man that Stacey was dating, right? Oh yeah, that's a thing, right? And then boom, it was left out of to be continued. Like, I just don't understand what is the end game with that storyline. Like, what, do we expect Monique to fight Stacey? Like, Stacey, why are you talking to my ex-husband? Like, who cares? Prior to this scene right here, or to Stacey being on the show, I don't think that they've ever ran in the same circles. So what difference does it make? And what is Monique's reaction supposed to be? Like, what if next week, I feel like this is how it's going to play out. She's going to be like, oh, okay, well, that was my ex-husband. Like, good luck. And then we move on from that. And then all this built-up was for nothing. Because their real reaction is that they want Monique to fight for her ex-husband back. Like, why are you dating somebody that I used to know and we're in the same circle? When I don't think that that's going to be Monique's reaction. And I hope it's not, because it's really not that serious. Like... And Stacey, she has Fabio. She's not fighting over Chris Samuels and his extra large boxer briefs. Like, Kiarna, like, you and Angel, like, go away. Like, ugh. But, that was the whole episode. The episode was really, really cute. It was nice to see Monique back. We'll see what happens with her for the rest of the season. And if her and Gizelle have a sit down, I wonder how that's going to go. Let me know what you thought about her return and what you think about her, placement on the show moving forward. Bye, everybody. Mwah.